I know it's not controversial, sir, because I've seen polling literally on Republican channels that the overwhelming majority of Republicans and Democrats want transparency and accountability. That the overwhelming majority of Americans has seen that one of these two things is lies. Is there truckloads full of evidence as to victims of crime not having justice? Have we been lied to? Who are we trying to protect? What are they trying to hide? This is not controversial. We have Republican leaders in Congress calling for the same thing that this amendment calls for. And so for a second degree to be offered to mine, where you're using horrific crimes to hide the real intention of this, if this amendment is so important, just strike the first two lines that strikes my entire amendment. The intention of this is clear.
On July 24th, what should have been a routine Senate Judiciary business meeting turned into something far more explosive. The official agenda included nominees and bipartisan legislation, including an opioid overdose data bill. But instead of a dry markup, the room detonated over Jeffrey Epstein, government transparency, and whether the Senate was witnessing an effort to quietly bury public demands for disclosure. Cory Booker's argument was blunt. This was not just a procedural fight. He said Republicans were using a real policy debate as cover to strip out his amendment pushing for transparency on the Epstein files. John Cornyn answered just as bluntly, Booker was jeopardizing a bipartisan opioid bill and turning the committee away from immediate public safety issues. That is what made this clash so combustible. Both sides claimed they were defending victims, but they were talking about two completely different kinds of victims, two different crises, and two different definitions of accountability.
So what we have right here is hidden behind real issues on immigration is really just trying to not vote on the important points that we brought up about transparency and accountability on the Jeffrey Epstein files. This is not an amendment to my amendment. This is an attempt to strike what I have a whole list of prominent Republicans, elected leaders, who want the same thing I want, which is just to have transparency on this matter.
Can we vote
I've
on
heard
my
some of the
second degree?
comments. If I can finish, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I have heard public statements by my Senate colleagues on both sides of the aisle. I've heard comments from Republicans on the House side and Democrats on the House side that we want transparency and accountability on a matter of public safety. Senator Cornyn said that Jeffrey Epstein's dead, yeah, but his victims are not. There are women who have horrific stories of vile violence that was committed against them. We have Pam Bondi, our Attorney General, who said that there is evidence, truckloads of it, as to these crimes, potential co-conspirators, potential others involved. How can we not want to just know what happened? Why are we trying to simply turn away from the highest law enforcement officers in the land, from our FBI director to our Attorney General, who spoke towards crimes committed and others involved in those crimes? Why are we considering an amendment that is hiding behind real immigration issues, but real intent is to strike a simple request for transparency, for accountability, that Republican voices all across the spectrum have been demanding from this president and this Attorney General? So if Senator Cornyn is going to offer an amendment, I'm going to offer a third degree that simply strikes his first two lines. I'll vote on your immigration stuff that you so strongly stated. There was the importance of this, but you hid the fact that you put here.
I trust the Senate-confirmed Attorney General of the United States to make the proper legal analysis to determine what of the Jeffrey Epstein files can be released. She was confirmed by the United States Senate as Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the United States. I trust her to make the right legal determination. But I would ask my colleague from New Jersey, you claim you care about the victims. Do you care about Tammy Nobles? Do you care about Marie Vega, the angel moms who lost their loved ones, their children, through the acts of an illegal alien who never should have been here in the first place? Do you care about them?
Can I respond to the senator's question? Sir, I've known you for 14 years. You and I both care about victims of crime. And to suggest otherwise is stunning to me.
Senator,
if I may finish, sir,
Senator,
I allow you to finish.
I asked
sir,
you a question.
And I'm trying to
I didn't
answer.
make an accusation.
Mr. Chairman,
I asked you
Mr.
a
Chairman,
question.
Mr. Chairman.
Answer the question.
I should have allowed a time to respond to the senator's question. I did not interrupt him, and now he's interrupting me.
Please.
It is another violation of the decorum of this place.
Go ahead, Senator Booker.
Senator Cornyn, both you and I have spent our lives. I know your record. I know your history. I know what you've done. I would never, ever question whether you care about the victims of a heinous crime.
Mr. Chairman, please help me.
You ask me if I care? Absolutely.
Thank you.
No, I'm not finished yet.
Well, thank you for answering the question.
Well, I'm going to answer the question in full. So I said at the top of my comments, my frustrations, we've said it to your staff, we've said it to others, that when funds like this have been made available so far in the first 6 months, they're clawing back funds from my state. And that's unfair, and I would like to deal with those. We could deal with them. And given that, I am sticking to an amendment that is not controversial. I know it's not controversial, sir, because I've seen polling literally on Republican channels that the overwhelming majority of Republicans and Democrats want transparency and accountability. That the overwhelming majority of Americans has seen that one of these two things is lies. Is there truckloads full of evidence as to victims of crime not having justice? Have we been lied to? Who are we trying to protect? What are they trying to hide? This is not controversial. We have Republican leaders in Congress calling for the same thing that this amendment calls for. And so for a second degree to be offered to mine, where you're using horrific crimes to hide the real intention of this, if this amendment is so important, just strike the first two lines that strikes my entire amendment. The intention of this is clear. It's to not give the American people accountability, transparency, and truth. That's what we as the Judiciary Committee should be seeking. So I offer a third degree amendment.
Senator Booker.
Mr. Grassley, sir, I have asked for someone to address my New Jersey concerns for months now. There was an incident in which you got a special carve-out for your state when they froze funds, but I have got no justice for New Jersey. So if you want to postpone this and address my New Jersey concerns about the resources we are not getting, and I know you would do that with me in good faith, I would be happy in our next meeting. But right now, I am sticking with my amendment.
It'd be faster to address your concerns for New Jersey if you'd asked me to help you with the administration to get something done so you can get your money.
Sir, I've got no, I'm not from you.
Then if you do it through the legislative process, tell me that. Let me make a conversation with the White House on your issue.
No on concealing the Epstein files.
Mr. Whitehouse.
No.
Ms. Klobuchar.
No by proxy.
Mr. Cruz.
No by proxy.
Mr. Blumenthal.
I vote no because I vote no on concealing the Epstein file.
Ms. Roto.
No by proxy.
Okay.
Mr. Booker.
I vote no on this effort to conceal the Epstein files.
Mr. Padilla. Mr. Welch.
No, I'd like the Epstein files.
Mr. Schitt.
No one concealing the Epstein files.
Chairman Grassley.
Aye.
On this vote, the ayes are 12, the nays are 10.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. So his second degree, which had nothing to do with immigration, which was to conceal the Epstein file, Senator Cornyn's effort to conceal the Epstein files right here on 1 and 2 has now violated my amendment. There is no amendment anymore. It passed.
That's right.
That's right.
And Cornyn is saying, yes, I did something to stop the American public from seeing the Epstein files. It renders my amendment moot. That was the intention of Senator Cornyn's amendment that he just passed, which was to conceal
Chairman,
the.
I have to respond. Nothing we are voting on today is going to change any of the debate about the Epstein files.
Is
That
that a
debate will continue.
That is not
And if
true.
you don't acknowledge that, I just have to, I really question whether your amendment is actually in good faith or not, because nothing's going to change that. But, Mr. Chairman, my second degree amendment passed, which included striking the Senator Booker's amendment. I believe we've, committee's spoken.
May I respond? He directly referenced me. May I respond? Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
So Mr. Cornyn claims that nothing about this would end debate. We're not seeking to end debate. We're seeking to pass legislation out of this committee that would force the disclosure and the transparency and the truth being made public. We had a chance today that Senator Cornyn blocked to make the truth known to the American public. We had the power today, the possibility today, to force out the truth regarding the Epstein files and the lies and the obfuscation that is happening by this administration. What Senator Cornyn did today was to block the truth about what's happening with the Department of Justice and the Epstein file. It is that on its plain truth, no matter how much he wants to try to dodge that truth.
What Senator Booker is trying to do is to kill this underlying bipartisan bill that will hopefully save hundreds, maybe thousands of lives because of the opioid crisis. It's already taken tens of thousands of lives in this country over recent years because of the Biden open border policies. So I'm simply trying to preserve this bipartisan legislation, again, that will save lives. The debate that he and I are having over the Epstein files, I doubt will be resolved today based on any amendments either he or I offer. So that's the reason for my amendment, because I want to save lives from the opioid crisis. And I believe his amendment is a distraction from that and actually will jeopardize.
I don't think it's helpful to your problem.
Senator Graham, there's not been a time in my career where you said you want to help me that you didn't. So I'm going to take you up on that, and I'm going to withdraw
glad to-
and I'm going to withdraw my amendment.
You're a good man, and I will try to deliver with Senator Grassley the best I can.
What happened in that committee room was bigger than a shouting match. Booker was trying to force a question into daylight. If the government has spent months promising transparency on Epstein, why does every step toward disclosure seem to produce more confusion, more procedural escape hatches, and more demands for blind trust? Cornyn answered with a very Washington defense. There are other urgent crises. This was the wrong bill, and the hearing was the wrong battlefield. But for viewers, the takeaway is harder to shake. The transcript shows a senator looking straight at his colleagues and asking what they are afraid of. The reporting that followed shows the fight over the files did not disappear. It grew. Victims kept demanding answers. Lawmakers kept pressing. And the Justice Department kept defending a release process that many critics across the political spectrum said still left too much hidden. That is why this story works on YouTube. Not because it is just another Senate fight, but because it captures the moment when procedure, politics, and public distrust all collided in one room.